Imagine this, friends. The most secure place in the world, America's White House, a place where not even a bird can fly without permission. What would happen if that very place suddenly fell into the hands of terrorists? And the biggest shock of all, the President of the United States himself becomes their hostage. The movie's name is White House Down. Hello, friends. I'm Sam, and you're watching Know the Story Global. Before I begin the video, I have a small request. If you're new to this channel, please make sure to subscribe. The story begins with a young girl named Emily, who is watching the news on her phone. The news reports that the President of America, James Sawyer, is planning to withdraw the army from the Middle East and move toward peace. Hearing this makes Emily extremely happy. Just then, the sound of helicopters echoes through the sky. It's the President's helicopter. The security surrounding him is so tight that satellites, snipers, and every single movement is being monitored closely. At the same time, a sniper enters a nearby building for inspection, activating thermal vision to check for possible threats. Everything appears normal, but there's a strange tension in the air. Now we are introduced to John Cale, Emily's father. John is a former military man, but now he's trying to become a body part for the President. On the other side, we meet Agent Walker, the President's chief security officer. He's preparing for his last working day. Deep inside, he carries immense pain. His son was killed while serving in the army. John arrives at the White House and brings Emily along with him because it has always been Emily's dream to see the White House from the inside. There, John faces an interview conducted by Carol, someone he already knows from the past. But the interview goes terribly wrong. Carol directly tells him that he is not suitable for the job. Even though his heart breaks, John lies to Emily and tells her he got the job, only to keep his daughter happy. Soon, the two of them begin touring the White House. Everything seems normal, but a few people are carrying equipment around in a suspicious way. John feels something strange, but ignores it. Meanwhile, a man secretly arranges bombs and weapons, and slowly, a massive conspiracy starts taking shape. During the tour, Emily gets the chance to meet the President and even interviews him for her YouTube vlog. The President is surprisingly friendly and motivates her warmly. But as evening falls, everything changes. A massive explosion suddenly shakes the White House, and chaos erupts everywhere inside. This marks the beginning of the attack. Security forces react immediately. All doors are locked down, but the people disguised as technicians are actually the terrorists themselves. One by one, they kill the guards, seize their weapons, and begin taking control of the entire White House. Their hacker, Taylor, hacks into the system, giving the terrorists complete control. Emily, who was inside the washroom, returns and witnesses everything, but instead of panicking, she bravely starts recording everything secretly. Meanwhile, John narrowly escapes from a terrorist, and using his military training, he starts fighting back. The President is taken to a secret bunker, but then comes the biggest twist of all. Agent Walker, the man everyone trusted the most, betrays the President himself. He kills the other agents and personally takes the President hostage. The reason behind all this is personal revenge for the death of his son. Now the White House is completely under terrorist control. The President is their prisoner, and outside, the entire government is in panic. Eventually, John discovers that the President is trapped inside the bunker, and all alone, he sets out on a mission to save him. During the mission, John fights and kills one of the terrorists, taking his walkie-talkie. Through it, he learns that the President has been captured. The moment he hears this, John grabs a gun and rushes toward the bunker. The moment he reaches there, a fierce gunfight begins. Bullets fly everywhere. Somehow, John manages to rescue the president and escape with him. Meanwhile, outside the White House, Carol and the vice president are desperately trying to control the situation. The army is ready to launch an assault, but the danger involving the nuclear codes stops anyone from acting recklessly. Then Walker makes a call and demands $400 million, warning them that if his demands are not met, the consequences will be catastrophic. Carol asks for proof that the president is still alive, and Walker replies, "In 2 hours, I'll prove it." And from this moment on, the story becomes even more dangerous. On the other side, John asks the president, "Is there any phone here that can contact the outside world?" The president tells him that there's a secret satellite phone hidden inside his private room. Moving carefully and silently, the two of them make their way there, and John quickly calls his colleague Jenner. Jenner immediately informs the Defense Department, and everyone finally learns that the president is still alive. Hearing this makes Carol emotional for a moment, and she urgently says, "By any means necessary, get the president to the lowest basement level of the White House. There's a secret emergency exit there." But just then, a few terrorists reach their location. The situation becomes extremely dangerous. John only has 3 bullets left, while 3 armed attackers stand in front of him. Without hesitation, John instantly takes down 2 of them and then gets into a brutal fight with the 3rd terrorist. At that moment, the president grabs a terrorist's gun, removes his glasses, carefully takes aim, and shoots the attacker himself. Meanwhile, Emily has been secretly recording everything the entire time, but eventually one of the terrorists notices her. Emily quickly rushes into a room and uploads all her recordings to YouTube, and the moment the upload finishes, she is captured and taken hostage. Her video instantly goes viral, and soon every TV news channel starts broadcasting it live.
When John and the president see the footage on television, John is completely shocked. His daughter Emily is now in the hands of the terrorists too. Now he no longer has just one mission, he has 2: save the president and save his daughter. Meanwhile, Walker discovers that the president used the secret phone. He immediately rushes to the president's room, but by the time he arrives, John and the president have already escaped. Walker realizes that someone inside the White House is secretly destroying his entire plan. He then enters the hostage room, snatches Emily's phone away, and gives everyone a terrifying warning. "If anyone attacks us, the hostages will die first." Carol now understands that this is not just an outside attack. The real enemy is someone from inside the system itself. At the same time, John and the president get trapped near an elevator. Back at the command center, the government finally identifies the terrorists and discovers that this is no ordinary gang. Former Delta Force soldiers, ex-military operatives, even an ex-FBI hacker are involved, meaning every one of them is highly trained and extremely dangerous. A little later, Walker and his men spot John and the president and immediately open fire. John fights back while escaping the area under heavy gunfire. John then calls Carol, and over the phone, she keeps guiding them step by step, helping them find a path toward the basement escape route. John tells the president to leave alone and save himself, but the president refuses. He chooses to stay with John, and together they move forward. But then Taylor hacks into the system again and exposes their exact location. Walker's men immediately move in to capture them, and a massive gunfight erupts between John and the terrorists. In the middle of the chaos, John and the president reach the parking area and jump into the president's bulletproof limousine, trying to escape. The car is heavily armored, but outside, an intense attack begins. The terrorists chase the vehicle and spray it with machine gun fire, yet they still can't stop it. People across the entire country watch everything live on television, as if a real-life action movie is unfolding before their eyes.
Soon, the army joins the battle as well. Tanks and helicopters are deployed, but the terrorists are fully prepared. Using rockets, they destroy the military assault. Then, the terrorists fire a rocket directly at the president's limousine. The vehicle flips over violently and crashes into the swimming pool. Everyone watching believes the president is dead, but moments later, both the president and John emerge from the water alive. The president then tells John, "They want me alive. Use me as bait. Make them stop shooting." John follows the plan and pretends to take the president hostage, but secretly he slips a grenade into the president's hand. The president suddenly throws the grenade toward Walker and his men, and the two of them escape once again in the confusion. Meanwhile, the outside world still believes the president has died. As a result, the vice president takes control of the country and prepares to make a massive decision. Discussions even begin about launching a nuclear strike. At the same time, Carol uncovers a shocking truth about Walker. He has terminal cancer and only a few weeks left to live. That means this entire operation is basically a suicidal mission for him. But Carol feels that this is not just about personal revenge. There's an even bigger conspiracy hidden behind it all. She secretly begins investigating and discovers that someone inside the White House had been communicating with both the CIA and the FBI, proving that an insider helped plan the entire attack. And then comes another huge twist. John and the president are actually still alive. Meanwhile, the new acting president orders Delta Force troops to storm the White House. Helicopters arrive, but the terrorists destroy them with missiles. At the same time, one of Walker's men discovers that Emily is John's daughter and decides to use her as a weapon against him. On the other side, hacker Taylor successfully hacks into the entire U.S. defense system and launches a ballistic missile at the new president's aircraft.
The plane explodes in mid-air, killing the acting president instantly. And now the situation becomes even more dangerous. Now the head of security asks Speaker Ralph to take the oath as acting president, and Ralph officially becomes the new acting president of the United States. The new president immediately decides that an airstrike should be launched on the White House, because if the nuclear codes are activated, the entire world could be destroyed. Meanwhile, Walker brings Emily in front of the president and says, if you want to save her, activate the nuclear codes. But the president refuses without hesitation. I cannot risk millions of lives just to save one person. Even Emily shows incredible courage and says, "Sir, please don't activate the codes because of me." At the same time, Carol contacts John and reveals a terrifying truth. Only 8 minutes remain before the airstrike begins. Now, the White House is just moments from being completely destroyed. That's when John comes up with an extremely risky plan. He starts setting fires in different sections of the White House, triggering the entire fire alarm system. Water begins pouring everywhere, sprinklers activate throughout the building, and suddenly the entire atmosphere turns into chaos. Using this confusion to his advantage, John launches an attack on the terrorists. During the chaos, one of the terrorists says, "We came here for money, but now this has turned into a nuclear war." That's when everyone realizes that the entire operation was actually planned by Walker and Stentz. But Walker immediately makes his true intentions clear. "I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing it to avenge my son." Then, by forcefully using the president's fingerprint, Walker activates the nuclear launch system, with Iran set as the target. And immediately after that, Walker shoots the president. Everyone believes the president is dead. Now Walker's plan is clear. He wants to push the entire world into a nuclear war. Meanwhile, a brutal fight breaks out between John and Stentz. But in the end, John blows Stentz up using grenades. Now only one villain remains, Walker.
and there are only 2 minutes left before the nuclear strike launches. John quickly grabs a vehicle and drives straight toward Walker. Using a machine gun, he starts destroying Walker's systems and the nuclear control equipment. In the middle of all this, John tells Emily, "You need to get out of here." But Emily refuses. She doesn't want to leave her father behind. John then says, "I'm not leaving without the president. You need to get somewhere safe." Finally, Emily leaves the area, but before going, she does something that changes everything. She stands in front of the White House, holding and waving the American presidential flag. Up in the sky, the fighter jets preparing for the airstrike notice the flag and immediately become confused because that flag is never supposed to be attacked. The pilots quickly contact the command center for confirmation, and then, at the last second, they abort the mission without launching the strike. And then comes another huge twist. The president, whom everyone believed was dead, is actually alive. The bullet had struck the watch hidden inside his pocket, saving his life. Meanwhile, Carol receives an intelligence report revealing something shocking. Walker was not the true mastermind behind everything. Someone else from inside the government had been secretly controlling the entire operation. John immediately informs Carol and then walks outside to meet the acting president. Pretending to be devastated, John says, "I failed. I couldn't save the president." The acting president immediately starts talking about launching attacks on the Middle East, but at that very moment, John realizes the truth. The real mastermind is none other than Speaker Ralph himself. John checks Ralph's phone and finally discovers all the evidence. Now the truth is exposed in front of everyone. And just then, the real president appears alive and immediately orders Ralph to be arrested. Finally, everything slowly starts returning to normal. Then the president turns toward John and says, "From today onward, you will be my new chief of security." Hearing this makes everyone happy, especially Emily. In the final scene, we see John taking his daughter Emily on a ride inside the president's helicopter, and for the first time, her face is filled with a joyful smile. And with that, the movie comes to an end. This story teaches us that no matter how powerful the enemy may be, even an ordinary person can shake the biggest systems in the world if they have courage, intelligence, and the determination to fight for the people they love. So, friends, whenever life brings you to a difficult crossroads, never be afraid, because sometimes a single brave decision can change everything. And friends, if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel, Know the Story Global, for more amazing movie explanations like this one. Your one subscription inspires me to bring you more incredible stories. See you in the next video with another unforgettable story. Until then, take care of yourselves. Thank you.